I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was telling me how times have been tough for him, how he is still processing the death of a close one. And that came up again because he used to discuss economics and politics with that person and have real deep conversations. But today, he noticed that he can barely talk to anyone about these things because there is so much division in society. You're either with me and you fully agree with me, or you're against me. You're with the enemy, or even worse, you are the enemy. So, whatever comes out of a certain country now is all bad, no matter what. All the people are bad, everything is bad. Um, if you have questions about a certain decision that the government made or something, you're immediately anti, or you're even considered terrorist, or in some countries they're even talking about taking away people's citizenship and not allowing them into the country or even into the whole continent because their ideas are considered to be dangerous. And these are not people who wrote Mein Kampf or things like that. These are people who are just putting serious questions regarding certain things that are happening in society. And we see this everywhere. It used to be like here in the West, we have democracy, and democracy is amazing. Over there, you have communism, it's bad. You have dictatorships, it's bad. Here you have freedom. But is that really freedom? Because nowadays, almost whatever you say, you're offending someone, you're against someone, you're a danger to society. And this is just when it comes to talking about things that are happening in politics or in economics. But there's much more happening. There is the fact that without any clear reason, you're really tired, have headaches, can feel down, can lose your concentration, feel stressed, sleep bad, and you enter a vicious circle. Well, all this is related to the changes that are happening on our planet. So for change to happen, an old system needs to collapse, which is a system that we have today, where there's communism and there is capitalism, there's democracy and there's dictatorship, and one is good, the other is bad, and the total opposites. Yeah, well, it's not so true. I wanted to say anymore, but it never was. And what you see now is that lies are coming to the surface. Lies being exposed, people are being exposed for being liars or deceptive. And it's happening everywhere. And people's reality is being shattered. So what you believe to be true for 10, 20, 30, maybe your whole years or your whole life is not true. It was a lie. And that's difficult for people to accept. And some people are open to this and like, okay, still you need to process it. And some people are like, no, 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 no. And whatever you say, they will find excuse to say you're wrong, or they'll keep making you bring up new proof that whatever you're saying is not false. But you are wrong until you can prove to them that you're right. And now we even move to the point where people are guilty until they can prove their innocence. And there is no proof of their guilt. There's just suspicion or just an accusation because they do oppose a certain opinion. And this is not going to end this year or not even next year. This is going to be there for a while and it's going to get even worse. I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to tell you that this is part of the change. And if you would dive a bit deeper into history, you would see that all the big empires went through this before they collapsed. Because empires tend to rotten from the inside out. So they start with an ideology, maybe, or just a dictatorship. And then they get worse and worse and worse. So how do you go through these times? How do you not lose it? How do you avoid feeling really bad after trying to have a normal conversation with someone? Or how do you even avoid having certain conversations with certain people, even if they start the conversation? Well, I have been learning and practicing and working on myself consciously since 2004. I did before that, but it was not on the same level. And throughout the years, I've still had my share of experiences of failures, mistakes, but I started to implement what I was learning and learning from those experiences again, and then adapt and change things. And this led me 21 years later to start a program called Ground and Go. This program is about learning to navigate these crazy times, how to stay calm, how to keep your inner peace, how to keep your focus, how to stress less, how to avoid stressful situations, or how to deal with stressful situations that you could not have avoided. And this is on Monday, every Monday, for at least a year. You can see in the description a link, and you can see what hour, depending on your time zone. A meeting of 1.5 hours each Monday, with a maximum of 2 hours, where we will have a short meditation to just, and then I will be teaching you practical tools that you can use throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, to stay more centered, more zen, more calm, help you see better what's going on, see more clearly, see through the veil, reading between the lines, listening between the sentences, and of course connecting with other people who are in the same situation as you, who are on the same path as you, who also want to have a more smooth experience of life, who are open-minded, and who want actually to eventually have a completely different life. A life where all this crap and shit does not matter anymore. But it all starts with baby steps and daily practicing. This is why every week we will meet. I will not be recording it. You're present or you're not. And when you're present, you participate. You learn through doing. And throughout the week you practice, and then the next Monday we meet again. And then we share how the practices went, what went well, what went wrong, how you maybe found a better way for you to do things, because in the end it's about what works for you. Copying me will not work. I will teach you things, I will inspire you, and you will do it in your own way so that it works for you, because we're all different. But I'm sure you went to already many workshops and trainings, and in the end it didn't really work for you because you tried to copy the teacher or the trainer. But what you should do is get inspired and then fine-tune things to your personal needs, because your situation is different from somebody else's. Your life has been different and will be different. So your experiences will be different. So your needs will be different. And every 2 weeks, we will address a certain topic also. I have a whole list of topics for more than a year, but that list is fluid because I will also look at the needs of the group on that day. Maybe something big is happening in the world, and then everyone is concerned about it or wants to know how to deal with it. Not in a concerned way, but more like, oh, this is new. What should we be doing? So if this resonates with you, click the link in the description and join us. And for those who are really committed to do the work, there are some nice bonuses that I'm offering. So have a look. Like, subscribe, and share.